Heyo everyone, it's Atsushi, and today it's Monday. And you know what that means? It's Manga Monday! Yeah! And we're now into the lovely month of August, and usually on the first Monday of August, or Manga Monday, it's usually dedicated to the latest chapter of Bungo Stray Dogs. However, it is not coming out for another couple of days. How fucking rude. But doesn't matter because I've got something to make up for it until we get next week's episode, and that is Bungo Stray Dogs Wan Volume 2. It finally came. I finally got my copy. Just took like a month. Like, thanks. But anyway, we have the happy cheery depression instead of the severe depression if it goes on in the series. Next week. Yay! But anyway, so we have this lovely little second volume and we have 19 new chapters to go through. And, well, if you watch the other one, I don't actually go through every single chapter. Believe it or not, I can actually condense things. Yeah, looking at you, Stormbringer. Fuck you. But anyway, so just going to talk about some of the chapters that I really liked in this volume. Most of them are actually in the animated season, so there actually isn't that many that didn't appear in the anime, so... But the ones that did, I'm actually really gutted that they didn't appear, so I'm just going to put that out there. And obviously with our two lovely boys that are my faves on the front, the fact that there's one for Chuuya that wasn't animated, I'm really gutted. Because it's funny as fuck. The volume starts off with, well, if like I said, if you've watched the anime, you'll know the one where Dazai like is just like talking out into the wilderness and then out appears Carl and be like, "You're a dog!" And it's like, no, it's Carl. It's a wee raccoon whilst Atsushi is just like spying on him. But it's interesting when you know, obviously, the anime episode, and then you read this chapter and you see like just the wee slight differences in like what they added to the anime episode, which is quite fun indeed. So still follows the same kind of premise of the fact that Dazai's challenging what he thinks is a dog in the fucking bushes, and actually she's just looking ahead, just being like, what is he doing? And then obviously when he guesses he's wrong and it's Carl, obviously Dazai calls out the fact that Atsushi's there and he's like, oh, you knew I was there the whole time, you were just joking at the fact that it was a dog. And he's like, Dazai's like, yes, I totally knew it wasn't a dog. As he's having like a fucking panic attack. And it's just like, what is happening? And then obviously then Atagawa appears in the bush. He's like, but I've been here too, why didn't you know I was here? And then it's just like everyone else just spying on basically somebody else. So then you had Hikuji like looking at Atagawa, and then we had Kin and Tachiharu looking at them being like, how is this our boss? And then they're all just like following each other. But in the anime, like every time a new person appeared, like everyone's faces changed in this weird stylistic way. And there's only one panel of that for like when Atsushi's face changes for Atagawa, but it's funny just seeing obviously the fact that they just took that concept and went in the anime like, yes, let's just make everyone's faces different every single fucking time. Let's just make them weird. Why not? So we start off very strongly with that, and then we go into like the wee dog episodes that just appear, and it's like I just love it when it's like the whole like, oh, this is our territory thing, and then they go and try and fight off the port mafia who's trying to take over the territory, and it's like, oh, we'll use our abilities, but then Kunakida can't use his ability because dogs can't write. And he just has the wee existential crisis. It's a wee shame, but it's so funny. Like I love like the wee episodes when they're dogs, especially because like when Atsushi uses his ability, he turns into obviously the were-tiger, and it's just like, you turned into a cat, you went from a dog to a cat, and it's like, no, I went from being I'm a tiger. But it's like, yeah, but the fact that like Chuuya's a wee chihuahua kind of thing. It's so cute. And then, like, there's a panel and it's like, Chuuya's all like, don't say it. Don't fucking say it. 'Cause it's like, they go through, like, all the kind of breeds that, like, the ADA are. And then there's a panel just, like, Chuuya the next page. And it's like, Chuuya. And it's like, Chihuahua. And it's just like, Chuuya just like, don't even continue. Oh, there's so many wee, like, brilliant panels of Chuuya, like, in this volume, and so I am super happy. Also, the fact that Chuuya is, like, on the spine as well is, like, extra love. It's like, yes! Best. Although there's also with the cat as well. But anyway, that's a different story. So after that, we go into Tanizaki and Naomi story, and it's basically just Tanizaki just being like, Naomi's in a mood with me and I don't know what's happening. Because she's like somewhat distance herself from him. And it's like he's panicking at the fact that she's not being like overly affectionate or anything, like, you know, like the kind of creepy way that they interact with each other. But and then actually she's just like, oh, maybe she's just getting to that age where she doesn't need you anymore, kind of thing. And and Tanazaki's just like, nope, she always needs me. She always needs me. She won't drift apart from me. To the point where, like, the fact that she wasn't at work or something like that, he goes, I'm going to go find her and I need to make sure she's okay. Because he can smell her out. It's like, yeah, just don't be creepy at all, Tanizaki. Just, yeah, I can find Naomi just by her scent alone and I can follow that. Which then led him to the very, very awkward situation of all the lassies were getting their physical checks done. So, yeah. Tanizaki was then basically labelled as a pervert that day. Woohoo! But after that check was done, it's fine. Everything was back to being tickety-doo, and they were back to being really creepily affectionate to each other again. Yay! I know I said I wasn't really going to talk about, like, the chapters that appeared in the anime too much, but I just really, really wanted to point out this one. You know the dance one? The dance episode where they record themselves dance so that they could win some money. I just really wanted the fact to say that that's in this one, and I just love it. It's also the fact that the chapter is called Like and Subscribe. It's just like, oh god, it feels like such a YouTuber plug to be like, hi, if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. And then I've just realised I've just done it. Fuck. I don't do it, and yet here we go, I've just fucking done it. I hate myself. Anyway, like for my pain. But anyway, so it's actually slightly different because obviously in the anime they made it like a big whole dance sequence, like everyone like gets involved. Yeah, it didn't really work like that in the chapter. Basically, it's only like Atsushi, Dazai, and Kunakita. Kunakita still dances like a fucking robot and still awkward as fuck. And they still get like the wee honourable mention, like prize kind of thing. But, like, it's not like a whole big dance thing. Not everyone joins in, and the Port Mafia definitely do not smash through the windows and have their bloody dance-off moment and just shown off. Sparkles. Nah. So one of the other little stories that don't appear in anime is there's like a wee section where it's like if they had different jobs. So you take like the ADA, but they're not obviously a detective agency, but they're doing something else. So the first half of it is they work in a bakery, so they do like patisserie. And basically the common theme of there's another workplace as well that appears afterwards, but it's basically Dazai just like not working properly. Obviously, because he doesn't really, in terms of how the ADA sees him, he doesn't really do his job properly. But in the first one, it's like actually comes in and it's like, oh, he's a new guy kind of thing. And Dazai already makes an excuse to leave the shop to do work to bring in customers. Basically to woo lassies to come in, but obviously that's not going to happen. But it was like Kurakita's still just making all these cakes and shit. He's just like going like nobody's business, still producing it whilst he's ranting about the fact that Dazai is like scum of the earth, basically, because he's not doing his job right. Oh, and then you have Rambo just eating, like, taking a bite out of every single cake, because he's the cake tester. Honestly, that is the perfect job for Rambo in this situation. It's just funny, just, yes, finished product. Donk. So everything has a bite taken out of it. It's kind of like that episode in anime where Rambo takes over the tea to take to Fukuzawa, and he eats a bit of this, like, fancy ass cake. Oh, it just reminds me of that. Funnily enough, that one is also in this volume as well, so that story is there as well, but how Rambo just tries to help but doesn't really, but in ways he does. All because he just wanted some food and nick, like, cake. Whilst he was, like, got the wee bit on his side. But anyway, so obviously that all falling apart, and that she's just looking like, what is going on? Why am I working in this bakery? It then cuts to a different version in which they work in a hospital. And once again, Dazai's like a doctor, but he makes excuses to go out and treat female patients. It's just like, why? So Atsushi is the one that's actually in hospital being a patient, and then it ends up Atagawa basically becoming his main, like, kind of surgeon doctor thing, and he's like trying to kick him out. He's trying to fix him as soon as he can to get him kicked out because he doesn't like the fact that Dazai is his doctor and spending time with him. I need to talk about my favourite chapter. Mostly because I just want to talk about it, and also it's technically in the line of progression of what I've talked about so far, to a degree. So, there's a chapter with Chuuya and Dazai, and basically, as usual, Dazai's making fun of Chuuya for being fucking short. What a shock. It's nothing new. Until Chuuya goes to sleep that night and wakes up slightly taller than Dazai. Literally, he has a growth spurt. However, the growth spurt does not stop, so he just keeps growing and growing and growing until he literally basically becomes like a fucking a kaiju, basically, like Godzilla-sized. And Dazai has the fucking cheek to be like, so how are your clothes also growing? Because you should be butt naked. And like all the while, like, Chuuya literally has like the King Kong kind of like imagery where he's got like Dazai like locked in his hand, like trapped in his hand kind of thing, and then he just drops him into the city because of the whole butt naked comment. It's just Dazai's face just falling. It's just like, yay! And then like Chuuya gets upset and then just cries, and then just, but then like it's like he cries for like 3 days and 2 nights or whatever. It's like 3 nights and 2 days or whatever, and it just turns out that it's Dazai telling a stupid folklore story, and then it's like, oh, so this is how like the pier of like Yokohama came about, because Chuuya cried so much fucking tears it created a fucking like ocean. And it's like, so that's how we have a port. It's just like, wait, what? Oh, which then leads on to like, there's another wee section with like fairy tales. Sorry, I'm just thinking about like the last one that appears, and it's just so silly. But it starts off, there's one, and it's like everyone's like, it looks like a play because like everyone's got their wee roles, and the first one is like, there is an old man and an old woman. And the old woman is played by Rambo. And the old man's Kunakida. And there's like a question mark above like Rambo's like old woman question mark. So it basically tells a story, and then it's like Dazai's dressed up as like a stork, and it's like, oh, the old man saves the store because it's trapped in a, it's got like a bear trap kind of thing. And later that night, the bird came back, but it came back as a human. It's like a young boy again. It's like, oh, can you help me? And then it turns out it's the fucking bird. And then it was like, oh, and then the bird just came by every now and again. And it's like, okay. The bird that turns into a young man then turns back into a bird when they go to sleep. Yeah. But the one I really want to talk about is there's one at the very end, and it's like the 1 foot tall man. You can probably see where this is going. And it's just one panel, and it's just Chuuya going, nope, we're not fucking doing this. Oh, that's the mood. That is the mood. Correction, it's the 1 inch man, not the 1 foot tall man. And it's just Chuuya, and he's just like, I am not playing this role, because it starts off, there once was a very, 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 very small man. And Chuuya is just not having it at all. Oh, poor Chuuya is honestly getting ripped apart for his height in this volume. He's not in it that much, but like when he is, it's always about his height. Then we get towards the end of the volume, and then we hit the very first kind of dark era one, and oh, thankfully it was only the one about Dazai's terrible cooking, but see, as soon as I saw it was the dark era, and I was just like, oh no, because they fucking hurt in the anime. And it's just like, oh no. But thankfully it was just about Dazai's terrible cooking, but the fact that Oda's like, oh yeah, if he says it's fine, it'll be fine. It's just like, oh. Also the fact that Oda is just like obsessed with curry. So like anytime like it sounded like curry that Dazai was talking about and it wasn't, he was just getting upset. But yeah, and then it ends with the cute little Kokyo story where obviously, like, on the outside it's just like she doesn't really seem to interact with people, and she's like, oh, how you doing, like, how you getting along, are you liking it okay, kind of like trying to engage with her, and she's just being just blunt, like, yes, it's good, we're cool. And then everyone's like interacting with her and whatnot, and it's like, oh, Rampo made like the gummy sushi and all that with her, and it's just at the end it's just like, it's all lively here, I like it, and then that's it. It's like, oh. It's such a nice wee like story to like end on for this volume. So it's great with these wee stories. Like, I love Wan for that reason. Like, they're nice and short, nice, just like bite-sized little stories, and obviously they vary from if they stab you in the heart or if they're just like cute and fluffy whilst they're being like hilarious. Obviously, granted, for the most part, like, they are all funny. I say for the most part because obviously there's ones that are just gonna go, cool, yes, this is Bungo Stray Dogs, yes, there's the pain. But yeah, I'm so thankful that we're now getting these now, because I think there's about 9 volumes or something like that out in Japan, might be a 10th one out by now. So, and I think we're getting the 3rd one in a couple of months. So, yay, that's good. That's good, that's good, that's good. So, it'll be fun to see, like, how far does the anime go volume wise, because obviously they've not done them in like orders of chapters, because like obviously all volume 1 would have been like in the anime, but obviously they weren't, and it's obviously scattered about, and obviously they've changed like the order as well of how some of these stories have appeared, because it's not linear, so it doesn't really matter about where they appear. So it's quite a fun wee game, like a wee mini game of, did this appear in the anime or not? For at least like the first few volumes. But yeah, so there we go. 2nd volume 1. Highly recommend just picking it up just for fun light reading. So always a nice wee thing for the collection if you like Bungo Stray Dogs. And obviously the fact that we'll have the 3rd one come out in a couple of months. We should have news in a couple of days. I want to say it's the 6th, because I think it's at the Crunchyroll Expo thing which I think is Friday and Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. So we should have news, hopefully, on season 4. Maybe even a trailer. That would be fucking epic. And then, obviously, if you follow the chapters, the monthly chapters, I think it's Wednesday it's coming out, so obviously, like, 2 days from now. And, obviously, I will have my cries over it next Monday. As you do. But, yeah, so that's Manga Monday for this week. And I've kept to the tradition of the first Manga Monday of the month is a Bungo one, so, and given the fact that how it works out this month, where the very first day means there isn't a chapter, my volume came just in time, because I literally just got that a couple of days ago, so it's worked out quite nicely that way. This month we should hopefully for me, like, I have the worst luck. They just keep getting delayed. So I should have Dead Apple and the 3rd volume of Beast. All going well! So we'll see if they happen. And obviously they will appear anyway. So look forward to that in the future. And yeah. Here we go. Lots of bingo things potentially for this month. But obviously I said that last month, and I said that for June, and basically I didn't really have any. But anyway, until next time, I'm AJ, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.